On today's ChurchTechCast.com Q&A show, multiple GIFs, FeedBurner for WordPress, and Only Pro6 for a Mac. Hi, and welcome again to the ChurchTechCast.com Q&A show. This is the show where every week, or less recently, but hopefully more soon, I answer your church tech questions. My name's Paul Allen Clifford. Our first question comes to us from Bob Lopez on YouTube, who asked in response to one of my ProPresenter tutorials. Very helpful, thank you. You're welcome, Bob. One more question. If I wanted to play multiple GIFs sequentially and have all that sequence to loop continuously, any thoughts? Okay, first off, you've got to do it in ProPresenter 5 because ProPresenter 6 doesn't play animated GIFs or GIFs, depending on who you talk to. It just doesn't play them. So if you only have Pro 6, you would need to convert them to video files. In ProPresenter 5, though, you could add them, tell them to not loop, just play until they stop, find out how long that is, add a go to next timer, and have it go to the next one. These should be foreground images, by the way, not background, because if they're background, it doesn't matter. So basically, I believe a GIF, now that I'm thinking about it, will behave like a video. And so the go to next timer is how long after the video is done before it goes to the next item. So you would just set those to 0, then set the last one with a loops to first slide action, and it should just work perfectly fine there. If not, convert them to videos and then use them as foreground videos in either Pro 5 or Pro 6. Again, 0 go to next timer. Put them all in a single playlist item instead of, a single song notes kind of thing. So put all those in one, just as if you were making a pre-service or post-service announcement loop, and do that. And that will work perfectly fine for you. Next, Dandy DJ on YouTube asks, good stuff. My church uses WordPress platform, which suggests using FeedBurner so we can have the enhanced feature of artwork with our podcast. I instead installed PowerPress by Blubrry, which allowed us to keep our own feed address. You didn't explain that FeedBurner requires you to use a FeedBurner URL for your RSS, which is the really scary part, and solve the problem of lack of artwork, which is the reason we don't want to use the built-in podcast solution with this theme. I will be sharing your video with them. Okay, so there's a couple of things here. Let me talk about that. First off, you're right. I would use PowerPress unless you have Libsyn as your host, because Libsyn now has an app. But in general, PowerPress by Blubrry it's what I use, and I've got several shows. So it's with one show you're going to be perfectly fine to use PowerPress. Secondly, it is really scary not to have control of your RSS feed, particularly given the fact that Google has been killing stuff. Now, in the podcast community, a lot of the main consultants and teachers, coaches, etc., in podcasting, and if someone says this another way, they're just not paying attention. A lot of them are telling you not to use FeedBurner because it could go away at any moment, and they're all thinking that it's going to go away at any moment. In fact, when Google Reader went away, everyone said, okay, 6 more months and max, and FeedBurner's going away. But for whatever reason, FeedBurner is still around, and it has been, but it's really not kept up very much. One feature that it does have that you didn't mention is you can use it to enhance your feed, which I wouldn't do, and then take that feed and use a URL on your site. It is possible to do that. Still wouldn't do it, but it is possible to do. So I guess what I would say is whatever theme you have that said to use FeedBurner, that's old information, and I'm kind of concerned that your theme says to do that. So don't do that. PowerPress by Blubrry is a great way to do it. Good choice. Okay, finally, Dream Warriors Arts Production on YouTube, in response to my Kinetic typography lyrics without click track video, asks, only ProPresenter 6 able to make it, and must Apple, Mac, or would a PC do it? I don't think English is his first language. Nothing wrong with that. Just a little communication. One thing that I want to say is it really depends on what you mean only ProPresenter 6 able to make it. If you're saying you're not in a church and you want to do this for a band or something like that, there are other solutions. I'm just the ProPresenter guy, so that's why I chose ProPresenter. ProPresenter 5 and ProPresenter 6 can do this. So if you're asking if you needed to upgrade to 6 when you've got 5, the answer is no. It works on both 5 and 6. A Mac probably is required. What I mean by that is that you need to use video that will embed a alpha channel in the video in order to do this particular procedure where basically you've got text with a transparent background on video. So as a result, ProRes 4444 can do an alpha channel. It is theoretically possible to use that codec on a PC. It's not particularly easy. I haven't heard a lot of success doing it. Some people swear they can do it. I just, it's not as easy as it is on a Mac. And depending on how much you get paid per hour and everything, it could be that looking at it and going, well, a couple $100 extra and I've got a computer where I don't have to fuss with it versus I'm going to spend 6 months working on this. You could see how that could be a problem. So I guess that's my answer is if you're in a church environment and you have Pro 5 or Pro 6, then you can do it. On a Mac is much easier because it's got the codec built in already and you can make it in Motion, which is a $50 software product, or if you already have the Adobe suite and you have access to After Effects, then you can do it in After Effects. Either way would work, and basically you're just going to make a lyric foreground video and then change whatever background you want, and then the background continues to play, and then you just advance individual lyric videos as the time arises. Well, I hope that helped you, and if one of those was not your question, no problem, just ask it below the video, and then I will get to it eventually. I've got quite a backlog since I took off most of the summer and all the fall and some of the winter. So you might not get it initially, but I tend to respond back to those questions pretty quickly. Until next time, this is Paul Allen Clifford with TrinityDigitalMedia.com. By the way, if you like this content, you'd like my newsletter, so head over to trinitydigitalmedia.com/newsletter, and there you can get all sorts of church tech tips, tricks, and answers to questions. Until next time, go out and change eternity.